All right. All right. Day 4 of Days of Oneness 2021 Mission One race. And to think that we did this last year, it's been a year, and that we're faithfully able to do it again. And we've already rebranded it and refined. I have a friend, not a guest, you call him a guest, a brother, a mission executive board member as well with Mission One Race, pastor, uh, community advocate, connector, related, so much more, and just a good human being. And he'll let me say, just like I would say it about myself, a good human being, and working out oneness and working out everything else in the process. Nobody's perfect on this screen right here, and no one's perfect in this area that we're talking about. And we're going to keep it nice and focused for you all. But this is an important day, and we look at the tension that Mission One Race seeks to walk in. And by the way, if you don't know me, hi, Richard Relaford, aka Rich Rel. This is Danilo Archbold, who's sharing with us today around heal. Just a couple of questions that I'm going to bring his way, and want to leave you guys with a challenge. Yesterday's challenge from Relate, and I don't think, yeah, I clearly articulated. I wanted you to find an area within yourself or a person that you almost said or would think, I can't relate to that. I don't understand that. Not from that background, not from that country, not from that. I'm not a male. That I don't have those abilities or not have those abilities. I can't relate. Like literally, that is a statement. That's like almost a fragment sentence. I can't relate to that. And I would challenge. The challenge was find and locate an area, and then sit there, think about it, pray about it, whatever you need to do, and find the area of connection and relation, because it's there. That is a human breed. If you got to go down to we're living organisms on the same planet, you're gonna find relation. You're gonna understand what it's like to want to relate, to want to survive, to want to thrive, want to be loved, want to be belong, want to have a purpose. But there's many pastors and theologians and philosophers that boil it down to that. Everybody wants to be loved, whether we say it or not. That's a lie. Everyone wants to belong to something. If we act like, oh, we want to be outcasts our whole life, that's a lie. We want to even be part of the outcast crew. Then if it's outcast, then I remember that growing up. And then last but not least, we want purpose. As a matter of fact, we need purpose, or a mission, if you will. You can listen to a podcast if you want to work that out, with the difference between purpose and mission, right? The purpose on top of your mission, or the mission on top of your purpose. But either way, that I hopefully it did you well, and you were able to identify an area. For me, I'm not going to share mine right now, but I do know intentionally that there was a gap for me to say I not only did not understand, could not relate, I somewhat would judge people that like did this thing. I'm not saying judge like they're a horrible person, but I'm like, how could you do that? Right? I can't relate. I can't even believe they would do that. And looking at the situation, sometimes the trauma, sometimes the pain, sometimes the hurt, things happen. Now today, you're like, man, these steps are heavy. They're a combination of practical and emotional and spiritual potentially things, and we're in one of those categories. How do you say that step 4, day 4, as a country, an individual, because we're calling the United States of America. That's how it started. I always like to go back each session of saying on July 3rd, countdown to July 4th, for the 245th year, we are the United. We didn't name it United. Listen, unity, oneness. Like I'm not in some random place talking about oneness. We're in a country that's claiming oneness, though, from its background of folks that have migrated here, that have been taken here by force, that were here in the first place, right? That have all these different things that have that have immigrated here, all that good stuff. And we're saying, can we shift the tides by taking these 8 days to walk through our 8 principles of understand, forgive, relate, heal, connect, reconcile, love, and act. And I love the button of understanding, understand before you act and why you act. It informs your act. Your love pushes you through to another level. We'll talk about those. But today, before we get into those back end, almost action-based principles, we're in heal. So let me jump right in there, Danilo. So again, because I'm really bringing you in for multiple reasons. I thank you for making yourself available. But when you think of healing, like what's the difference between being healed and being cured, do you think?
Being cured. First of all, thank you, Rich, for this opportunity. Uh, and it's just an awesome blessing, right? Being part of Mission One Raise. And I thank God for giving you the inspiration for this journey in oneness, right? But right to the topic at hand, healing, right? Healing is in regards, when you think about healing, in making something whole or sound, to restore, bring it back, right? To its original integrity. When you talk, an example of that is a nurse. When someone is sick and they're in the hospital being triaged, right, or in recovery, the nurse, male or female, is in there prepping them and making sure through the IV and the medicine and the bandages, making sure and checking on them periodically that the medicine is working, right, to restoring them back to some sound or wholeness, right, of health, right? On the other hand, medicine, right, in a medical term, is that in which doctors or scientists, right, try to cure something that is a disease or something that is unsettling for someone, to make it whole again, cure it in its entirety, right? Eradicate the dis-ease or the discomfort that someone is having, right? And so when you look at it in that perspective, one is tending and mending, and the other one is obsolete in reference to it, right? Bringing it back to its original content, right? Where it's whole and sound, it's reconciled now. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm taking it in because one is eradicated. You say cured completely is eradicated in a way. Like you're cured. It's not really sometimes a trace of it. But healed, the mending of it, and that would make sense. There's no promise that there won't be a scar. There's no promise that there won't be, and this almost implies this almost constant transient and almost ever-present need to know, like, okay, I was healed of this, or I'm being healed of this. I think it also implies each of the two one has a almost instantaneous energy to it, another one has a process, a process associated with it. Because even when you think of healing or healed, cured, you don't normally say curing, right? Either it's cured or it's not cured. Either cured or not cured. Healing, heal could be, I'm healing from that. You could say I'm healed, but like to heal in itself, even when you say it, like you think of, oh, you can almost see the scab on your hand go from flesh to, then you kind of get the color back. But then you usually have in this life, while we're in this side of eternity, in this life, I've got scars all over my body. People look at me and they're like, they know, man, you must have a hard life. They don't have to ask me. They look at my legs. They look at my shoulders, like, because of those scarring. So I would say this, let's bring it in. So just not, hypothetically, but how is or when did your healing journey begin? And I think, I know that's hard because it really could be a huge range of what I'm talking about. If you want to take a specific instance, or maybe when in that cycle, or maybe how long does it take for your healing journey to begin? Or maybe you are on an overall healing journey specifically. And I want to keep it in the pocket of kind of this social tension.
Social context.
Yeah.
Right?
Of like this, of human interaction.
Human interaction, right?
Yeah.
So listen, you said something just a while ago about the scars on the outside, those stab wounds or those cuts, right? That you can physically see that heal. There was a process over a period of time where we had to tend to it, peroxide, benzene, or whatever it is, right? Ointments, right? And then it naturally heals. But what about that emotional, right, or spiritual scar that's on the inside, right, that we normally don't talk about, that leads, right, to emotional dis-ease, right, where your emotions become fragmented, where you no longer have the ability to live, the 4 L's, right? the ability to live, love, laugh, and learn, right? Where you are disconnected, ostracized, huh? Because you were belittled, degraded, taunted, maybe as a little child. Maybe you are in a toxic relationship with, from a woman's perspective, with an abusive man, or maybe the racial tension in our country that's prevalent now, right? That's on all the social media avenues, police brutalities, inequities, insecurities, people starving, people being losing their jobs, being homeless, right? What about those scars that are underlying where the 4 L's are no longer part of their daily lives? And so they're fragmented, right? They don't have that emotional support. They don't have that support like Moses had when Joshua and Aaron were holding them up. That's where Mission One Race comes in. That's where the oneness comes in. That's where we are uniquely the same. I remember when I first came here as a young boy from another country, not being able to speak English, right? And I had young children of color in my community tell me, "You look like me, Danilo, right? But you have an accent. You're not even from this country." Can you imagine the emotional scar of a second grader, right? I couldn't go home and say anything to my mom because I was the eldest of my mother's 3 children. I literally had to hold that in, right? And so I think that we're at a point that God has gifted you, given you an assignment. When people say, yeah, they were the chosen, you're misconstruing the word. They were chosen not because they were superior, they were appointed. When God chooses you, it's not that Rich Real for the vision of oneness and Mission One Race, not because you were better or more skilled than anyone. He knew that you could get the job done, Rich Real. You understand? So there's a difference when the scripture says that you were chosen, not that you're better or superior. God knew that you had the skill set within you. And he was working on something, all the scars, the physical, the mental, the emotional scars, to bring you to such a time and a place as this, that you were well-rounded now and equipped and surrounded by men and women who could interject and pour into you and help fulfill the vision and the will that God has for you in your life for this journey of oneness.
And I just, it's a lot. I mean, I don't mean a lot like it's wrong. Just, if you want to talk about a healing moment, it's hard for me to take genuine compliments. Hard. I can take superficial ones all day. You know, you this and that, or it's some out surface, looking good, like, whatever. But there obviously some area in me from a number of abuses and things from my childhood that I try not to rush past. When someone says something like what you're saying, what others have said during this movement, I really take it to heart, and I really feel that healthy burden and responsibility to walk it out the best I can. Because just know that this family, and we're landing the plane here in a moment, that we have to be honest. No one, and I think you would agree, Danilo, Pastor Danilo, knows the pace or the grace necessary, right, for each individual to heal. So when you're communicating and contacting them, the only thing I see that's a big issue in this area is for people to mandate, the offender to mandate the offended, or when and how fast the healing should happen, the reconciliation should happen, the forgiveness should happen. And I think that is not the mandate or the responsibility of that person, but to know that the key is we hope that all of us can heal as quickly and as holistically as possible, but there is a supernatural piece of healing. You don't know. One moment you're just able to breathe. One moment you're just able to take not an offense by a person that is a specific ethnic group or socioeconomic group or area, right? Or language, whatever, and take that and use a paintbrush, I call it. Those paintbrushes are dangerous. Those people like them, women, men, right? We do that stuff, and I don't think we know how damaging that is, because now we're conditioning ourselves before that person opens their mouth. We have what's called prejudging. Oh, that's prejudice? Yeah, that's called prejudice. So we are walking around with biases, prejudice. And then when we activate that and start to discriminate based on that, right? Being discriminatory based on some presumptions of not even knowing this person, whether it is skin color, whether it's background, whether it's style, whether it's lifestyle, whether it's interest, whether it's political views, whatever it is, right? Background, history, we all have made mistakes. I think that's the thing. Each of us are walking around in a broken world, holding, remember this, what we hold people, the level at which we hold people to judgment wise, right? The word tells us this comes right back at us, the same measure. So I think, what if we want more grace? We might have to give more grace. That doesn't make us weak. And the healing, there's a supernatural piece to it. You can't force it, you can't rush it, but you do have to journey towards it though. And matter of fact, we can probably use in each other's life to help that healing happen. I think a friendly moment of interaction as human being is a small healing step. My father talks about that. Some of it is a small step. Because that's happened to you, an airplane or something like that. And like, man, I don't know what just happened. I just feel better from this human interaction where I thought this person was going to be rude and they weren't. What I think we are underestimating the small day-to-day things and overestimating, right? The fact that some key moments and or traumas. And I'm not saying to underestimate them, because I've been physically challenged because of racism. I've been emotionally, I've been discriminated upon, all that. I'm not trying to undermine it. But if that's all of the story, if all the other nice moments that I experienced for folks of unique backgrounds, if I bury those, what if I was to add those all up? Would that help me have a more holistic picture and journey towards healing? I'm rambling here a bit, but I really wanted to let you.
I think that you're right on task.
Yeah.
You and I had a conversation. We talk quite frequently, right? And one of the things that you hit upon that I thought was very profound. I mean, and we talk about it because I belong to an interfaith advisory council unit here in Nassau County, Long Island, New York, right? Where faith leaders from all walks of life, all reformations and denominations, all cultures, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Baptist, Spanish, you name it, Pentecostal. And we're all sitting on this committee, right? Learning about each other's cultural differences and learning to listen. That's the key. Sometimes we have to stop talking and learn to listen to what one another are really truly saying. I need to learn more about the Jewish culture, their customs. I need to know more about the Muslim customs, their culture, the Hispanic culture, their customs, the African-American, and whoever else is sitting at the table. And once I learn what their cultures are all about, once I learn about the person and I get to know more about them and I get closer to them, that's where part of the healing process starts. Then I become less judgmental, because these aspects of being judgmental that's causing the rift. That's what it is, the dis-ease amongst us. It's because, guess what? The enemy is throwing up these roadblocks. You don't need to speak to her. You don't need to speak to them. They don't look like you. They don't talk like you. They didn't go to the same school you went to. They don't have the same education. Look at how they dress. We're all uniquely the same, right? And the scripture talks about us. Christ said, how will you know them? That they are mine. For the love, it starts with love, unconditional love. How will you know that they are mine? For the love that they show one another, that they have for one another. And love is not a verbal thing. You can't run around telling people, I love you, and then in the same breath, 5 seconds later, you're twisting up your face. People can read your facial expression, your body language. I can't tell you I love you, Richfield, and I'm kicking you. I can't tell you I love you and your children, and I'm mocking you and talking about you, right? Doesn't work that way. Love is an action word. It is what it is.
Let's heal, y'all. Let's heal. Let's make space for it. Let's make time for it. I think pride is a piece of it. We can keep going, but we're gonna land it here, because there's oftentimes we want to hold on to it. It feels better. We want revenge, all those things, but I think the best thing that we can do as Mission One Race and as a country and as a world is realize, just like with forgiveness, actually the benefactor is us.
Amen.
Walking around wounded changes your whole world. Bitterness is there's no doubt that is right there at the surface or right below the surface, and so many other things. And we want the best that that our life was planned for, the purpose for it, and you only can get there, you know, at least striving towards healing those areas. So I think that's the challenge for all of us. Take an area, take a moment of something probably small and or big that is really at you, and decide to forgive. Yes, we hit that before, but also say what might be necessary to heal. You know, what might be necessary to heal, and maybe sometimes, believe it or not, it might just be time, might be a conversation, or it might be us letting go. But all right, brother, this is so good. We'll be talking more. And you guys, I'm not at a loss of words. I'm just trying to make sure that intentionally when I have these conversations, these people, these hearts that are present, you need to be fully present in there and to receive, because I know people as they watch this, it even is perceived uniquely, right? So there's moments in there, hopefully for you. It may not be this one, or may not be the whole thing, a part of it, and or one of the days we have going forward. That's your challenge. I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 5. Thank you. By way of Long Island, I got it right now. Danilo Archbold, Panamanian, Black Panamanian brother out there.
Rich Real.
All right, God bless.
Rich Real. Mission